So have you heard about the term IAM in AWS? I am sure that you are a bit confused by all the talk about IAM in AWS. But don't worry, even if you are a complete beginner or new to AWS, today we will simplify AWS IAM so that you can completely understand how to manage users, roles and permissions confidently even if you are a complete beginner. So before we go ahead with this, please do not forget to like, subscribe and share. To understand what is IAM in AWS, we need to understand some key terminologies that is getting used in AWS. And these are some key terminologies like what are users, groups, roles and policies. All these things we need to understand to thoroughly understand what is IAM service in AWS. Let us understand each terminology one by one. First one is the users. Users are the individual people or applications that need to access to your AWS account. In simple term, you can consider any individual or application as a user. Next is a group. Group is a collection of users who share the same permissions. For example, we can create a developer group and attach policies or permission to all the developers so that each developer will have the same level of access. Next, roles. Roles we can use to grant temporary access. For example, AWS services to access other services. We can take an example of EC2 instance want to access S3 bucket. With that, like we are granting temporary credentials or access to our applications. Next are the policies. Policies are basically the JSON document that define permissions. For example, a policy may say allow listing S3 buckets but deny deleting objects. So this is a kind of one policy. So these are some important terminologies we need to understand to thoroughly understand what is IAM in AWS. Now let us come to our main point, which is what is IAM in AWS. So IAM is basically identity and access management service in AWS. It is basically a kind of service in AWS which will help us to securely control access to AWS services and resources. It will also help us to determine who can do what on which resources in our AWS account. These are some important points we need to understand in order to understand IAM in AWS thoroughly. And now it's time to practically create one IAM user, assign it to some groups and attach some policies or permissions to that group. Let us see how we can do all these things step by step. First of all, we need to open one browser and type console.aws.amazon.com. This is the URL we need to type in the browser. Now here on this page you have option to log in with user IAM user or you can log in with the root user. So here you can simply click on this sign in using root user email, and here you can select the root user and here you need to enter your email address and click on next button. After that, on the next page it will ask for the password, and once you enter the valid password it will take you to the console page of AWS. And this is the console home page of AWS. This is the dashboard page. Now here you can simply search for the service which you are looking for. We can enter IAM and it will show all the services related to the IAM. We can simply click on this IAM, manage access to AWS resources. And here it will show all the options which are there inside this IAM service. In the left pane we can see we have access management. Under that we have options like user groups, users, roles, policies, identity providers and all. Now it is best practice to create the user group first and assign the user to that user group and attach the policies instead of creating the individual user and attaching the policies or permissions. So let us first create the user groups. And here we can create one developers group which we can name it like dev, and here we need to attach the policies to this user group. Now here we can see this is the administrator access. We need to think on this because this is the full access to all the AWS resources. we need to attach this policy very carefully because it will grant full access to all the AWS resources. Unless it is very much needed to that group or admin level access, we can provide only admin level users. So you need to keep in mind that this is full access to all the AWS resources. Now let us search for the other policies, like we want to go for EC2 access. So EC2 container, or this is the Amazon EC2. Next we need to go for S3 bucket. We want S3 full access, we can select this. So these two are enough. So this way we can attach as many policies as we want to this group. So we have successfully created one user group with name dev, and you can see this is the group name dev. If we click on this, it will take us to the new page wherein it will show what all users are the part of this dev group. Right now there is no user we have added to this dev group, and these are the permissions in tab inside which it will show all the policies we have attached with this group. Now we have simply added 2 policies to this group and it is showing as such. So apart from that, if we have some existing users, so we can add all those users, existing users, by clicking on this add button, add users button. Now let us create one new user. So this is the users tab link we can click on, and here it will give us option create user button. We can simply click on that, and here we can give the name of the user, let's say Vivek, and here this is the option which will give us AWS like this is the identity center. So identity center, basically with this we can connect users to AWS applications, for example Amazon Q Developer or Amazon Quick Site. So basically we can use IAM Identity Center for either providing user access to applications or user access to AWS accounts, or for both. For that purpose we can use this option. For now we can simply uncheck this, and it is recommended we can go with this one, but for now we can uncheck this option and click on next button. And here we are come to the next step, which is setting the permissions. Now here we can select this dev group. So this Vivek user will belong to this dev group. For that we need to select this group name, and we can simply click on next button. And after that it will take us to the next page on which we need to review what all permissions or policies we have attached for the group and for this user. So all these things we can verify on this page. And there is one more optional one more option, which is an optional tags. We can attach tags. So tags are basically we can attach tag, for example application name, key value pairs. Application name is a key and actual application name is a value. For example department is a key and engineering as a value. So this is one key value pair. Similar kind we can add multiple key value pair tags for this option or for these groups or users. Finally, we can simply click on create user option, and it will finally create one user. So this way we can create one user group or create one new user, assign that user to the particular user group, and we can assign the policies or permissions to that user group. So here one more thing we can notice that inside user groups we have users tab in which we have list of users, and on the right hand side corner we can see this is the ARN address starting with ARN, and this is the string combination. So this is basically we can use this this is the Amazon resource name ARN, and which we can use to uniquely identify a particular AWS resource across all the AWS resources. For example, it is starting with ARN, this is the AWS, and this is the IAM. After that this is the empty region, and this is the account ID, and these are some resource type and name, group, and dev is a group. So with this unique combination we can identify any AWS resource, particular AWS resource across all the AWS resources. So with this we are done with our IAM in AWS, and we have seen how we can create the groups, create users, and assign policies and permissions. I hope you must have enjoyed this. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. And after creating this user, this is the IAM user. You can even log in with the IAM user and see what all options are available for this IAM user. Thank you so much for watching this.